All right. Hey, everybody. Let me turn that down a little bit more. They might come at me, but I just have to, I guess, edit that out or something. But I just wanted to do a follow-up after stream. Let me mute that real quick. I'm in a mood to hear that type of and hear the old school music. I've been listening to old school music for a while. I don't know why. I just, this newfangled shit. I can't get with this newfangled stuff they got going on. What's going on, Tampa Supreme, Brenda W, Brilliance. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Chaos Rain, how y'all doing? Yeah, I appreciate that. Brilliance. Nathaniel the Barber World, how are you doing? I appreciate that. Yeah, of course, my sis Kendra, Erica Williams. Yes, she has a lot of really good information on her channel. But yeah, I was in a mood. I've been in a mood just listening to old school 70s music and 60s music. I don't know. I think I get that way around the holidays. I have to blame my parents because they used to have the old records and stuff. And we listen to them, they play them during the holidays. And I guess I just get a little sentimental. I get a little smoke in my eye. And I really enjoy music from back in the day. Nowadays, I don't know, I some of the music I can't really relate. Well, a lot of people, I don't know what they be saying half the time, but maybe that's just me. But to each his own. No dig, no kind of shot at anybody who likes more modern music, as far as some of the rap they have out now, or even the R&B. If I don't even know if they still have R&B out right now. I don't know, but I like old school stuff, and tying that in with some of the old school, requirements. There are a lot of requirements from back in the day for women, for men. A lot of things that you were required to do. Your position, knowing your role, knowing your place in life, within a household, within a relationship, very important. And so that's what it reminds me of. I know that I wasn't alive back then when a lot of this music was created or popularized in the media, but when I listened to my parents, or I would see my parents dancing to some of this music, it made me wonder, what kind of life did they have back then? I could tell that there was a lot more respect for women. Women had a lot more respect for the sanctity of a relationship, not necessarily marriage per se, but of a relationship with a man. And they were more likely to ask for help. Now, I know things changed later on, of course, as we all know, society shifted, began to change, but women were a lot different back then. And I appreciate the lessons I've learned from a lot of older women. What's going on, Mr. Hyde? Mr. Edward Hyde in the building. So yeah, Crimson Cure, we did the stream earlier, just a few minutes ago. Have women been liberated beyond self-respect? That was the title, and I have the the actual stream linked in the description box if you did not get a chance to see the stream earlier. If you didn't get a chance to, or maybe you came in late, or you're at work or whatnot. I know Bishop is at work. Maybe you caught the beginning but missed the middle and the end. So I put the link for you in the description box. What's going on, Measly Me? Brilliant said, I wish I was alive in the 60s and 70s. I mean, some people say, it wasn't it wasn't all good. I understand that. When you're living in that era, there's good and bad. And that's to be expected with human beings and societies. But I look at how things have shifted just from my parents' generation to my generation and the generation coming up next, which is the Z's, the Zennials. Oh Lord, he said, twerk win. Oh my God, salad. I'm done. Like, I was trying to hold in my laugh so much. I didn't want to disrespect, the flow of the conversation and like the chat and everything. But when when Kendra said that, what's going on, George Frazier? When Kendra said the twerk win, like, you got your twerk win over here. I about died. I was like, y'all don't know. I was like, I had to put my hand over my mouth, like, what the heck? That was funny. And then on top of that, you have the fact that people will say, oh, there's nothing wrong with that. They just expressing themselves. Like, no. The song Express Yourself was written for a different reason than that. They weren't saying express yourself and twerk on somebody's food or around somebody's food and ruin their appetite. That's not right. And just and someone asked, what did I mean by wide? What's a wide back? Like, think about it now. Come on. If I got to go through and say everything that, explain everything, what a damn wide back is. Don't act like you don't know what a wide back. You know what a wide receiver is. You know what an offensive lineman is. Stop playing around with me. You know what a wide back is. Acting like, I don't know what that is. What's a wide back? What's all this new jargon? What, I need to add that to my to my repertoire of language. I don't know what this is. Like, and then try to use big words. I gotta add this to my lexicon. Like, a wide back, you know what that is. It's just a female that need to sit down. She drawing too much attention to herself. That shirt don't fit you. It ain't fit you for about a year. You should have took it to Goodwill and donated it to somebody who needs it. And you up in here shaking, twerking, dipping, and flipping. You need to be outside somewhere washing off some cars. I'm just playing with you. I'm playing with y'all. That's something my brother would say. You should have been outside washing cars. No, you in here trying to be a lady. You ain't no lady. You ain't no lady. But yeah, I had a really good time. I always have a good time on Crimson Cure. Sir Ism, what's going on? Sir Ism in the chat. Salute. He says, salute, fam. Pull up to the Macosphere for ladies night coming soon. Much appreciated. All right. He said Macosphere. Okay. I hear you over there. You be talking to Brother Xavier, talking to X. But that laugh, you need to trademark that, first of all. That laugh be killing me. I be driving, you be about the wreck. Going, I can't be listening to you when I'm driving on the 405. It's a done deal. But yeah, all of that extra stuff, is not necessary when it comes to being a lady. And I have to go back to what Shop Talk Live said, Artisan, aka Artisan MC. He said that they don't want to be ladies, which is true. For a lot of them, a lot of the women out here that are acting like that, and then the ones that defend it are worse. You out here defending that mess. It's okay if she want to be like that, it's all right. It's not. It's really not, because like I said, it plays on it denigrates the image of everybody else in the group, not just Black women. Like, you're a separate entity. It doesn't just negatively affect Black women. It affects the whole, of Black society. Oh man, 24-hour live. Whoo. Wow, you better than me. I'd have been like, well, y'all probably would have heard me snoring up there. I'd have been like, after I think after about 6 hours, I'm like, man, my head just started nodding to the side, like I can't. But yeah, going back to the topic, like, these ladies, they want to, they don't want any accountability. They want to be respected, but they don't want to adhere to a certain standard, and that's a major issue when you're talking about society. And then I don't like the fact that you have men who would uphold that or defend that, because that's to your detriment as well. It's not, it's not sensible to uphold that. When the environment changes, and it is changing very quickly, I'm noticing that it's changing quickly, in many places faster than other places. But when the environment changes too fast, people panic, and a lot of times make very harsh decisions, rash decisions that could, cost them their life, cost them their safety, and things like that. But in my opinion, it's sort of like it's like karma in a way, I'll say, because you had all this time to get your act together and you just, refused. Self-respect is not hard. Um, Knowing your place and knowing what you should be doing at a certain time as a female, it's not hard to do. It really isn't. If you can't control yourself in a restaurant and they start playing music, I think someone said they were playing New Orleans bounce music, or something like that. And I'm like, well, I don't really know what New Orleans bounce music is. But if it's a lot of like bass and beat and stuff, okay, that's any other music that you listen to probably out in your car. So all of a sudden, in a public place with a lot of people around who may or may not want to see yo bouncing behind everywhere, now you want to come and, you know, let me get some attention. Nobody want to talk to you. We're here to eat some food, have a good time, and go home without the bouncing. We don't need all that. We don't need all the twerk juice everywhere. That's not necessary. And at the same time, when I was talking about like how the environment changes, everyone knows it's not necessary, but now it's time for correction. And with correction comes sometimes a physical change where, people will, for instance, if you're a hyena, BW, that's a hyena out here in the street, don't get mad when black men start ignoring you. Don't get mad when other men start ignoring you. Don't get mad when you talk to your female friends who got their head on straight and they just be like, "Ooh, girl, look at the time. Ooh, girl, look at the time. Wow. Ooh, I hate it for you. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, you know what? I just realized, I left my grits on the stove. like, ooh, girl, ooh, you know what? I forgot today I'm supposed to give my man a foot massage. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta go. Any excuse to get away from you is what they're gonna do. Because nobody wants to hear that mess. That's called correction. If you're smart enough, you recognize you're in the wrong and you maybe need to, adjust what you're doing. If you're not smart enough, you're gonna be still, oh, they can't handle me. I'm too strong. I'm too strong. That's what it is. They can't handle me and they don't know what I'm going through. Yep. They don't know. That's why, they stupid. They stupid. No, heifer, you the one lost. You the one losing. And that's just what it is. You losing and you're losing and I'm laughing. How about that? That's what's going on. LAR, what's going on, LAR movement? Oh, he said, I'm betting that they were mothers. New Orleans bounce is similar to DC Go-Go. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, which is very sad. It's even worse then. Wow. Much respect to LAR movement. Y'all go check out his channel as well as Sir Ism. Y'all better go over there and subscribe. You better go for I'll haunt you in your sleep. I'ma haunt you in your sleep. Me and Brother X gonna be haunting you. What did you say? Beasley me. All the white knights should be placed on the front lines and friendly fire should be rewarded with extra rations. Wow. Yeah, that's that simping. I don't even say white knights because a knight, that is a term of honor, loyalty, dignity, respect, and clarity. A knight is a person who is under the allegiance and the direction of the king. These simps out here, I don't know what they're doing, but it ain't got nothing to do with what I just described as a knight. A knight is a nice word for a more noble word for a soldier. My Kim, how are you doing, sweetie? You in the chat? Brother Rob, hey, how you doing? Father's time, salute to you. How are you? He said, what's good? Hey. Strong. He said strong. Okay, I'm gonna stop, man. Mr. Hyde, Mr. Edward Hyde. Man, I can't even say wide back no more. Strong, independent, and wide backed it. That's what I say. Wide backed it. They say that, like they say, he light skinned it. Oh, I like him, girl. He light skinned it. Yeah, you wide backed it, so you need to figure that out. Yeah, LAR, you be putting out some good content. Straight up. I agree. Simps doxing people out here, don't want to say names. Yeah, the simps, if you look at things from a certain perspective, the hyenas and everything and the twerking women and the public twerkers and all that and a mess, which is a mess. I guess they do have a place with the simps and the simps have a place with them, but the issue is you can have a place with that. They can have a place with each other where they can, be together, but that's not their intention. Their intention is not to find each other, and be together. That would be, struggle kingdom. That's not, they don't want that. If anything, they want to come in and destroy somebody who has things going on, and they come in and do what they have to do to destroy that, and then say, oh, look what I did. You rather burn the whole house down and be the queen of the ashes or the king of the ashes, then move on to something else and do the same thing because you haven't learned no lesson, and be destructive and delusional. You rather do that than live naturally within that environment and learn how to adapt within that environment, within that household, with somebody else who's there with you. Like, you don't want to do that, and that's very sad, sad. I mean, I do laugh about some of this stuff, but and I really think about it and I'm like, dang, I read stuff and I'm looking at certain things that are posted up here on social media and in mainstream media even. That's when I'm like, wow, time is the teacher in that particular perspective. That is a song I was listening to earlier by Dexter Wansler. He has a song, really good song called Time. The title is Time is the Teacher. So, and I love that song. It's really long, but it's good. And that's how I feel about a lot of the stuff going on in the environment. Time will tell what will happen. And it's not going to be a long time for, apparently, with the way things going now in this society and other societies. Let's see. LAR said, how hard is it to find the black male equivalent to these situations. Oh, yes. Yes. It is, yeah. It is hard unless they are more feminine male, then maybe not so hard, but you shouldn't find a black male equivalent to these situations where you have a man, dancing or being belligerent. Because I consider what they were doing as being belligerent and disruptive and you know, uh, not ladylike at all. And if you do find a male equivalent to these situations where black men are, or black man by himself is being disruptive in that way or a similar way, maybe not twerking, hopefully, but he's being disruptive, he gets punished immediately. It's like slap, smack down right there. And there's nobody says, oh, that's wrong, or oh, he couldn't contain himself, he couldn't control himself because it's that New Orleans bounce music, and when a black person hear New Orleans bounce music, that they just go off and they just, oh boy, they just bouncing it around and acting a fool. No, they won't say that if it was a man. Like, you should know better, you ain't got no home training, who raised you, all that kind of stuff will come out. What kind of leader are you for the black community? I thought women were the leaders of the black community. You know, I bet your mama raised you, all this kind of stuff. And how does that, when you compare that, it's like, wait, why are these women not getting that type of response? If it was me, like I said on Kendra Stream earlier, if it was me, I wouldn't have had to say nothing. You grown. I would have I probably would have gave a warning, maybe two. I would have gave a warning. I'll take that back. I would have gave a warning, like, hey, y'all, let's keep it calm in here. We got a good crowd in here. I hope y'all enjoying the food and everything. And if you are, I'll send the compliments to the chef. Thank you for coming. Hope you're enjoying yourself. You need another drink or whatever. I would have been cordial, And if you did it again, I would have just called the security to go holler at you for a minute. On behalf of the manager, the owner, XYZ, y'all, calm this down a little bit and everything. Hope everything's going well, but gotta calm this down. The third time, it wouldn't have been me, and it wouldn't have been the security. It would have been police. Because you kind of have to read people. If they're not calming down after security comes, it's like, let me make this call. Because, and I mean, people will say, oh, Nicole, why are you saying that? Right now in this climate, you call the police, they're gonna shoot you if you black, all this kind of stuff. I doubt that police are gonna come in a restaurant full of people shooting up the place. Especially if you, as the manager / owner, are giving a clear and concise description of what's happening. I have a situation here. We're trying to handle it with my security. It's not going well. We're still trying to figure out, like, how to calm this down. I'm afraid they're going to, like, damage property or something. Can you send an officer just to help out with the situation? We don't want things to get out of hand. Like, if you think that's not rational, then I don't know. Maybe you can give me another potential solution for that. What's going on, Black Man Being Brutally Honest? How are you doing? What's going on, Mike V? Let's see. Cussed out because I said, oh, wow. He said you got cussed out in the chat room the other day because he said you would prefer a chick with a dress size of either 4 or 6. Well, you can't have a preference, Chaos. So I don't know where you're coming from with that. You can't have a preference. You can't prefer to have a woman a certain way. You got to take what you get. Take what you get. And that's it. You can't take anything else. You can't expect anything else. Oops, let me plug in my battery real quick, my laptop. What's going on, Crimson Cure? That's my honey. Let me plug in my laptop. Y'all be right back. Hold on. Oh, this is what happens when you have children in your house and they move your charger with their little gaming stuff. Get that mess out of here. With their little, their little gaming stuff. They have all their little tables and remote controls and oh Lord, all this stuff. It's all right though. What's going on, Malika? Let's see. When did you say, oh, peace to the fam? Yeah, peace to you. I hope everybody's having a good Saturday, but I just had to do this little stream. Just some more of my thoughts after the wonderful stream from earlier. And not just from the stream from earlier, but other streams that we have done over on the Crimson Cures channel that relate to a lot of these standards and principles that are important for women, you know, to be upholding, things that we should be thinking about as women and promoting. You know, so I really appreciate that, her having me over there. Let's see, my preference. Okay, I know you lying. Mr. Edward Hyde said, my preference is Leslie Jones in the face with a Jill Scott body, because that's what a real man should. Stop that lying. Okay, if that's what you want. If that's what you want to do. I know you're joking. Well, I guess you're joking. I don't know. I have a student that is going to be pre-med. I told her about you and your channel. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Brother Rob. Pride lands are full of lioness roar. What's going on, Evo Sosa? I know you lying, Mr. Hyde. You need to cut that out. You need to stop that lying. Over here, got your hands up in the air. Yes. Don't do that. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kendra. I see your Cash App. Oh, yes. I meant to call out. Thank you for that Cash App. I appreciate that. There was other Cash Apps from the other day. I was missing them. Let's see. What we got? Mayweather 212 sent a Cash. Oh, he sent a couple of Cash Apps. Holman 1. I don't want to say your real name, but Holman 1. Evo Sosa. I know you. This is from a while back. Let's see. I think that's all for now. Yeah. But thank y'all for the Cash Apps and everything. Let's see. Yeah, pre-med. I have a student. That's interesting you said that, Brother Rob, because I had a student when I was a teacher's aide. I guess, well, teacher's assistant. I call it teacher's aide. But you know, in grad school, you have to help professors that have lecture and lab. So you have to teach the lab. And a lot of my students that were in the lab, it was a 2.5 hour class once a week. And it was a lot for me because I had never taught before. But what I will say is a lot of the students that were there were pre-med, pre-dentistry, you know, things like that. Some of them wanted to go into optometry, so they pre-med. A few of them were pre-law. They just had to take biology as a requirement for their degree program. But a lot of them are still in the sciences, like research. One of them in particular, she's a doctor now. You know, she's doing her thing. And, you know, I talked to her earlier this year. She just bought a house out in Baltimore. So she's, I think she's at Johns Hopkins, if I'm not mistaken. But she's doing well. And I'm not giving myself, you know, any credit for that. But I'm just glad that she was able to find, you know, science and technology and medicine interesting enough to continue, you know, pursuing it on until now. You know, now she's, you know, she's gone. I mean, she's doing her own project. She's working on a grant. Last time I talked to her, she was working on her grant, getting the final touches on her grant. And hopefully by I think by next spring, she'll probably know something about whether she's funded for that grant or not. It's very important to get a grant of your own because you pay yourself essentially. You're not under any like regulation like other people would be in the lab with the PI. You know, you have your own money, and you're guided on how you spend the money, but it's still, you know, the check has your name on it, and you're a student, so that's important. You know, a really good thing to put on your curriculum vitae or your resume. So I think I missed some people. Oh, what's going on, Torian? Torian Rain Reloaded. We got Big Discussion 76. Science and Technologies, Dr. Dunbar, as y'all know him, Dr. Dunbar. Oh, he said Dr. Ali. Yeah, I mean, you know, I've seen people say that, you know, I'm like, I'm just Nicole, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that though. I'm just Nicole, you know. I like to just, you know, be myself, and I know I mess up a lot, but you know, when people say doctor, it's like, oh, I know Dr. Dunbar gonna laugh. Like people say doctor, it's like, oh, they put their hand on their chest, like, oh, this is a serious matter. Oh, this is a serious person here. Oh, very esteemed, very astute, you know. And I'm like, yeah, you know, but I am who I am, you know, just a regular person. Oh, you said you just do it here. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of people they'll just um most people they just call each other by their name. It's like whatever, you know, it's not a big deal, you know. But I guess it's based on the environment makes it where it's like, okay, whatever. But going back to what I was saying earlier about the women, so when it comes to the self-respect, if we think back to what we were talking about in the stream with the Crimson Cure, when it comes to self-respect, like a lot of the young ladies, when I was mentoring them, a thought just went through my head. When I was mentoring them, I could see the evolution of these young ladies as they went from freshmen to sophomores to juniors and so forth. Oh, you're welcome, Dr. Dunbar. And so I could see that evolution happening, but it did not happen naturally. It was something where it was, there was a lot of coaxing. There was an adaptation that happened. You know, they had to adapt to their environment. And I wasn't the only one mentoring them. You know, like I said, there was a professor, Black male professor, who did not take junk off anybody. You know, you had to do your best no matter what, or you can kick rocks and get out of his class. Now his language a little bit more harsh, but that's the gist of what it was. You had to either do your work or you can write this form up and get out of my class. You know, there's other people that teach biology on this campus. You ain't got to be in my class. That's how it was. Like he was straight up. And they were like, oh my God, he's so mean to me. I'm like, why are you telling me this? You know, you're coming to me crying to me as if I'm supposed to go as a attack dog and defend you. No. I'm like, ask them a few easy, simple questions. Did you do your work? Well, I was going to get to it. No. Did you do your work? Well, the work is so hard and he doesn't even help. Like he doesn't even give any kind of extra credit and assist. I was like, first of all, back it up, make it plain. Let's rewind that. First of all, you didn't even answer the question. You didn't even do the work that he asked you to do. And then you want to say he doesn't offer extra credit. Pick a struggle. First of all, you didn't even do the work. You can't worry about extra credit when you didn't do what you're supposed to get regular credit for. Like, this is a life lesson you need to learn, and you're 19 or 17 or 18 or whatever, you're a freshman. You need to learn this life lesson. Do what you are told to do. Know the difference between, a attempting versus completion, attempting versus, completing. Attempting is you just looked at the assignment like, well, I could do it, but the Alpha's got a party next weekend. I'm gonna go to the party. Okay, like you playing it for bullshit. You playing it for a mess. Completion, get it done. Like you just get it done. There's a difference. There's also difference. There's a hierarchy that needs to be respected. You are not a professor. You just got here. You just got to college. You ain't even know what's going on. Like, you just got your ID card still warm in your pocket, and you just went to the calf like 3 times, and you think you running stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't, come on. This man has 20, 30 years experience as a professor doing what he's doing, and you're acting like he's doing you wrong. He's so mean. He said, you can leave my class. You don't have to be here anymore. You can go to another class. And I said, well, where is he wrong in saying that? It's his class. Whose name is on the door when you walk in the lecture room? In his lecture room. Well, his name's on the door. Is your name anywhere on the door? No, because I just got here. Bingo. You just got here. You just got here. I said, you got people that work here at this school that got bras older than you. Not to be vulgar or anything, people here, some people in my chat be having weak stomachs and whatnot. But people that work here, women that are professors here, chairpersons here, that got bras older than you, that got, church fans older than you. And you sit here, undergraduates, exactly. And you sit here talking about, he's so mean. He's so mean to me. I'm like, and then get mad at me when I look at you with a side eye, like, girl, I ain't got time for this mess. This is a mess right here. I'm like, look, okay, so, and at the end of the day, the end of all the crying and the griping and moaning, I'm asking them, okay, so you gonna do the work or not? Like, that's my question. My response to your childish rant is, oh, you gonna do the work or not? Because I go ahead and just mark you off, and then I can submit it to him, email this to him real quick, and we can just get this done. Because there's another class you can be in, but their success rate ain't that good. His success rate, his graduation rate from his class is pretty good. So what you want to do? Meaning that they go from freshman year to sophomore year. It's pretty good. So you might want to, try to figure out what you're gonna do. Fitness mom. How you doing, sweetie? In the chat? What's going on? Yes. Oh. Yes. Lord, say that again. Like I know fitness gonna be like, oh my goodness, because I know your daughter is getting into this age of college and university age and stuff, and in the world, that is very, very important lesson right there. The world don't care about your feelings, straight up. They don't. Hey, Charles. Woo. He said, woo, scientist supreme. Woo. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. Wow. I hope you are getting better, sir. Feeling better, styling and profiling. I don't think Rona can stop you from styling and profiling. You still gonna do that. But but I hope you're feeling better, sir. Seriously, yeah, I really do hope that you're doing good. Mike B, thank you for the super chat again. And once again, thank you for being here. He said, if you had to go back and start over again, which area of STEM would you major in? What area of STEM would I major in? Based on the things I use now, I think I would go into software, probably software development, something with that. And programming. I would probably do something with programming, software development. So the T in STEM, the technology. because the technology is running everything else that we do, everything I do in my job and in my industry is predicated on the advancement and the efficiency of the technology. You have to have um, the right technology. I'm learning right now. I was talking to AB about this one day. I'm learning about some of the bioinformatics programming and how to interpret the data, because we might do on one sample 50 million reads for sequencing, and I have to read all of this stuff. It's just tons of Excel tabs and worksheets and files I have to read, but that takes discipline and just to understand how to read it and how to interpret it. It takes discipline, it takes time, it takes patience, and I have that. Um, and these are skills that are very important. Now, and that was kind of what I was telling the young lady that day. And there were many young ladies and young men that I talked to from that freshman class and the next freshman class that came in. And a lot of them, they did not want to accept it at first, but after some time they did. They were like, you know what, I want to do this. And I said, think about what you said the first day when you were in my class. You said you wanted to do computers, or you said you wanted to be a OBGYN. I don't know why everybody, when they come in freshman year, they want to be an OBGYN. They must not realize what that entails. You have to get through biology 101 first as a freshman. And so a lot of them, they were like, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I have to stick to this. But yeah, to answer your question, that's what I would have majored in. Which is ironic because my dad pretty much is like, you should have did it. You should have did it. Now he's telling me, I'm like, now you say it, but hey, I made my decision. Yeah, you're right, Dr. Dunbar. Everything in the lab is run by computers. Yes, I set up 3 different tests yesterday to run, simultaneously on 3 different computers. And I just walked away. Like, I just set up one experiment on one computer, went to another one, took out my samples, set up another experiment, and did the same for the third. And I know that each of them takes so much time to run the samples, to process them. And I set that up and I just walk away because I know what the system is going to do. I know how to analyze that data. But changing the way I analyze data and learning a new concept, that's what I'm doing now. So I can analyze larger, pieces of data, larger sets of data, for patients or whatever we're doing. But yeah, and also if I want to do something as far as transitioning into like stem cell research, you need computers for that. Not even just computers, or you need robotics and automation for a lot of that to happen successfully. And so there is a learning curve with anything that you incorporate externally into your professional and your academic repertoire. There's a learning curve, but as you go up and learn more, it usually is the same formula. Like I said, discipline, patience. You have to listen, take notes. Like these are standards, for me anyway. And the young ladies and young men, when they were the freshmen I was dealing with, the ones that were successful, I have to say, even though it sounds kind of cliche, the ones that were successful, the ones that took really good notes and came to office hours, spoke up in class, the ones that did, they wanted to demonstrate the experiment. They read through the experiment, before they did read through the experiments before they came to class. And it's just like common sense stuff. They did what, students should be doing. And that was it. What's going on, Tone Malone? If you ain't simping, you're nothing. Okay, well, we already went through the simping stuff. There's a wide back woman for you somewhere. I'm just playing. Wide backed it. And you simped it. She out there somewhere waiting. Hey, proud to be a simp. How you doing? She's out there. And she might be the sweetest lady, but he laughing. She's out there. I know you looking at me. She's out there waiting for you. Now she may be nice, and everything, and you do your thing, man. Go out there, do your thing. That'll be your woman. That she is all for you. And you know what? She looks good on you. What was that comedian's name that said that? I forget his name, but he said it looks good on you. That would be your woman. You'd be like, I get all of this, you get all of that, honey. All of it. He said, no, I said, what's I said? I don't know what I said is. Sound like machine learning, AI type person, machine learning, East Coast. Yes, out here, I think it pays a little bit more depending on what like experience you have. And when I say experience, I don't mean like experience within tech and AI. I mean experience in other industries. So what I'm noticing in my industry, because mine is more genetics and tech and engineering, there's a lot of it's somewhat programming there because we have to be able to flip genes around and figure out what works for our cells. And there's basic biology, there's cancer biology, there's immunology, immunotherapy there as well. But if you have a lot of those different skills and those methods and techniques, it's really about the way you think. And so what you're saying, I think is true. And it does pay $200,000. That's walking in the door. You're right. Out here, it's probably a little bit more, especially up north and going towards San Francisco, the Bay Area. When you can put machine learning, AI, incorporate that into like animal studies that are done, or any kind of like tissue recombination studies that we do, that's where you get into like more of a conceptual project that pays a lot, like a $10 million grant for, 8 years or something like that. Oh Lord, this boy, he said coming from different backgrounds helps out big time. Yeah. Come from different backgrounds helps. Like one of my friends we've been friends like 8 years now. Well, 7 to 8 years now, almost 8 years. Next May will be 8 years exactly. And she is in neurology. So in neurobiology, neural processing and things like that. So she works with like she was working with rats and hamsters. Now she's working with like neural chips and neural display and things like that, which is totally different from where she started. We did a rotation together, and I could not stand neurobiology, just to be straight up. I was like, this is not for me. It's important to be confident in yourself so you know what it is you do not like and what it is you like, so you'll be able to enhance the skills in what you like. That you have to do early on as an undergraduate, and rotate in labs and see what it's like, shadow people and things. So I encourage students to do that a lot. So by the time they get to med school or the time they get to grad school, whatever they want to do, they begin to focus more on what they're good at. There are times where you're going to, of course, do things you're not going to like. But the point is to focus on what you're really good at. You can enhance that and teach others, collaborate with others. And so her area is, there is some AI involved in her stuff, because the chips they put on the brain of the rats is programmable recorder. They can record what's going on. They can record the brain activity. They can run them through mazes and record what the rats are doing and how they're communicating and run it on a simulator. They can change their environment and predict what they will do. They also can alter their brain with injuries and things like that and see how they respond to stimuli. And so it may seem like something that's already occurred before, but her research is original because there are the development of different strains of rats and mice. So this can go to commercialization, where you can commercialize the different strains of rats. Her focus is more rats than mice. Mice are just a little cheaper, but her final studies are working on rats, and they want to develop different strains to do that. I don't do strains of rats. I do like the same couple of strains of mice, and my focus is not on the subject itself, but more on what I put into the subject. So the type of cell I put into the subject, what is that cell doing? What is that tumor doing? Where is it going? Things like that. If I develop a drug myself from my own mind, and I put, I bring it to fruition through chemistry. Well, I talk to a physical chemist to help me develop that drug. They might say, Nicole, this drug is some bullshit like this. What was you thinking? Like, you sitting up drawing out chemical patterns and structures, and this ain't gonna do this. This drug is nothing. It ain't even gonna stay in solution. I'm like, dang, okay. Well, what had happened was, I'm not a chemist, but I tried my best. And they'll say, well, we formulated it. It doesn't hold up in this type of solution, maybe with saline, but it holds up in vegetable oil, or it holds up in alcohol, 100% ethanol. So you can try 100% ethanol and maybe use that on your mice, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I do that and see what happens with the mice within like a month or so. And then I look at how the tumors have changed. Where did they go? Did this drug work? Did it make it worse? And then a year or 2 years later or something, maybe even less than that, you're going into production, you're going into licensing, you're going into patenting this, getting this trademark, getting it done. But it takes time and, thinking about what it is you want to do, writing it down, making a plan, all that you have to do. Like, in my industry, you just have to. Of course. Yeah, that makes sense. Cybersecurity, Mike V said, I have cybersecurity background and work in big pharma. Yeah. That's definitely something that's needed. That's where you get into like more cutting edge things with big pharma, especially cybersecurity. I just found out, speaking of cybersecurity, somebody I went to high school with, he's a ASA now. He works with cybersecurity. And so when I found that out, I was like, wow, this, he was the dude that used to picket all the girls, especially me, because I had glasses, thick glasses with the tape on the side. Yep, that was me. And the overalls, I had that on. And he would pick at me like, why you got that on? You so damn country. I was like, I don't have nothing else. Leave me alone. I'm going to the library. Leave me alone. Hold my books. He was the one who used to knock my books out of my hand and stuff and pick at me and everything. But he's doing big things, and his thing was law. His dad's a lawyer. He wanted to go into law. So that's what he's doing, which is cool. But that's his focus, cybersecurity. So you working in that with big pharma, that's definitely, because there's so much data that is processed when you're in big pharma. I have friends in industry, pharmaceutical industry as well. And they talk about like how much information can be lost, can be stolen, can be, changed around, misinterpreted, and so they have to have really good security. So that's an asset definitely for you to be in those two areas. What did you say? Proud to be a sim? He said, facts. I like entertainment and natural resources. What do you mean, entertainment? Well, I think everybody likes entertainment. What's going on, Shop Talk Live? Natural resources. So you like getting natural resources, as in getting them stones to give Rasputia when you get home. I got you something, baby. I got you something real nice. Oh wow. Oh, this is nice. Thank you. You know I'm gonna pick at you now because your name proud to be a simp. Okay, I'm gonna. I know I'm trying to be serious with this, but dang man, come on. Proud to be a simp. She gonna be like, oh, thank you. Is this it? Yeah, that's all. I got you a nice ring, babe. Got you this ring and everything. You know. Oh, excuse me. I don't know where you at, so maybe you talk more proper. I got you this ring and everything. You know, here you go, babe. Oh wow. This is so nice. Oh, thank you. You didn't give me no Popeye sandwich. You didn't give me Popeye sandwich. Well, no, I didn't drive by Popeyes. I didn't know that's what you wanted. You should have heard my stomach growling from 3 miles away. Oh, my bad. And you go back out there. Secure infrastructure for COVID development. Oh, that's something good. Definitely. So as far as the securing the infrastructure for COVID development, you mean for the V word development, the COVID V word development. I don't want to say the word, but if that's the case, yeah, that's definitely an asset to do that. Secure the infrastructure. So that's one thing that I would probably be scared to do that. I know you have to have certain clearances and things like that, but I like doing my little nameless, faceless job in the basement. MLR, what's going on? Shout out to MLR for real, because you be giving the cash apps. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the cash apps. To Triv, thank you for the cash app as well. Dr. Dunbar, thank you. To Triv said the cash app is for peace. And hold on, let me see here. Dr. Dunbar said for contribution for the lioness. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Y'all send these cash apps through. Sorry about that if I was a little bit late looking at it. But yeah. So if you secure infrastructure for the COVID V, shot development, yeah, you're gonna be busy real soon. Probably. Real soon. I'm not gonna ask you what company or anything. I can, we can just assume that you do some real important work, which I already had a feeling. So you can tell the way people on this platform, where they talk about things, and I'm gonna put the link in the chat right now. But you can tell the way people talk about things that they know. One, they know what they're talking about, and two, that their work really is an asset. It's really a pretty big deal. It's something that, when I say asset, I'm not saying like other people's work is not important or crucial or anything like that. I'm saying like an asset to the 5 letters that I've said before: HELPS, health, education, politics, economics, and the society. Like everybody's job does not fall under those particular categories specifically. Mike is talking about his job. His job is pertaining to health, obviously, but also economics, like directly pertaining to that. Let's see. Mine is pertaining to health, just pretty much just health. Oh yeah, and I said that 2021. I said that it would be fall 2021. People didn't believe me. People sending me these emails about, I'm lying and all this kind of stuff. Okay, like whatever. Asha Walker, what's going on, honey? But yeah, they're getting mad at me. I'm like, don't get mad at me. I can't. There's no way Nikole can fund all these clinical trials. It's like probably 4,000 something by now. Who knows? 5,000? I haven't even checked it in a while. But there's no way I could be funding all these and telling you, like making stuff up. Like, no, for what? If they were gonna be finished in 6 to 9 months, I would say, hey y'all, they're gonna be done in 6 to 9 months. But guess what? I'm not taking that vaccine because it being ready in 6 to 9 months doesn't make sense. I know they have to keep their proprietary information safe and whatnot, but it's not, no, that doesn't make any sense. They have it written on their trial websites and on their study websites when they'll be done, which a lot of them were saying October, November, December 2021. Distribution to probably be spring and summer 2022. So I remember people saying, well, we got to get the vaccine before the election. Okay. You see how that worked out. How you doing, Sir Anthony? Good evening to you. Yeah, so 2021 is like, that's going to be the date. And we still have people walking around December 2020 without masks on and wondering why they have the sniffles and they have, certain issues. And, I was going to cook Thanksgiving dinner and I couldn't even smell. I don't know what's going on with me. Why can't I smell? I couldn't even taste the dinner I cooked. Like, really? Not wearing a mask, not taking advantage of the drive-through testing sites, perhaps, not getting more than one test, being all up in somebody's face without a mask on. Like, you're just asking for trouble. Little Rock 2517, how you doing? Yo, what's going on? Major, let's see. Proud to be a son. Getting ready to do a major podcast research setup with Timber Entertainment gives me access to countries and resources. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, thank you for explaining that. Okay. I've never heard of Timber, but that sounds like a good way to get your information out there. It saddens me to see so few Black people involved in this side of STEM when the NIH has grants available for African Americans. Yes, it does. It does have grants. And your side of STEM is more in the tech sector, of course, cybersecurity, also with where it's cross-disciplinary, from what you're telling me, with the security and the pharmaceuticals. So that's a cross-disciplinary, it's crossing different industries. But yeah, it is sad. What saddens me is that you have a lot of programs, and I've stated this before, where it should be a program geared towards boys because of the fact that it's like a programming type of program, but the people that show up to participate are girls. And so the boys are not being pushed into these programs. They don't necessarily say they should. I think they should say this is a program for boys, for Black boys. They'll say this is a program for African American students between the ages of 10 and 15, or between the ages of 6 and 11, something like that. And everyone will bring their little girl and their nieces and their cousins and them, and Sweet Pea and them, and Tatiana up there, and leave Brandon, leave Anthony, leave Mike, leave Charles at home to play video games. It's not right. And I'm looking at that. I know for a fact, because I, personally, I'm sitting here like my little nephew. I was like, why are all these girls out here? What is this? What about this attracts a 10-year-old girl, 11-year-old girl? And, when I was that age, I'm playing with Barbies and jumping rope and drawing on the street with chalk and, trying to help my mom in the kitchen. And I did my own little science and my little chemistry set stuff and my little science stuff too, my little video games. But I had a girl's life, and then they get in the program and it's pretty much a wasted opportunity, because with the girls in there, it's not geared for their brains and their thinking processes. And so it's a wasted opportunity. Like they're there, but they're not really grasping some of the concepts, and they get frustrated, overwhelmed. They sometimes don't get to complete the projects or the program's goals because they had to keep stopping and going back and doing this. And so I see that as like a waste, a waste of time, in my opinion. What's going on, Mayweather? But that's just how I see that. I could be wrong. Like maybe y'all have seen something different. Mayweather said, "Did you hear about Black actress Carol Sutton and the first Black country singer Charlie Pride died from complications related to COVID-19? I just saw it on Yahoo News." Oh wow, I didn't hear about that. Wow. Oh wow, rest in peace to them. Is that true? Is that you said you saw it on Yahoo News? So I'm assuming it's true. Dang. Yeah, I remember my mother talking about Charlie Pride. Dang, that's crazy. So they're up there. They're much older. Wow. That's the number one risk factor for COVID-19 is age. So I'm not surprised, but that's still very sad. Let's see. Sir Anthony says, "Sis Nicole, have you already addressed the allergic reactions to the vaccine in England?" Yeah, I was listening to what was that? It was AM radio. This was on Wednesday afternoon out here in LA, maybe around it was like lunchtime or something. And I was listening to it. They were talking about how, I don't know which company's vaccine, but one of the vaccines caused anaphylaxis in certain patients. And that is, in my opinion, that's an allergic reaction, but that is a severe allergic reaction. Where you have anaphylaxis, meaning that you're exposed to some type of allergen and your throat begins to swell and your heart rate increases, which exacerbates the allergic reaction to continue. Makes it, just makes things worse. But as your throat swells, of course, if it swells too much, you will not be able to breathe. It cuts off your air supply and you're not able to breathe. So they were talking about that. I don't know, I can't remember which company it was, and I don't want to say the wrong company, but the three companies that they've been talking about: Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca. So it was one of those three, but they did show that there was an issue in how some patients responded to the vaccine. And so that could potentially be problematic for them. Oh, I got somebody up here. Got Dr. Dunbar up here.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. In my gym, today they were like, everybody, no matter where you are, when you walk in, mask on. Yep. Keep that mask on. And I was like, man, I was over there skipping rope by myself. And the guy over to me said, when you walk in, from the moment you're in here, you got to keep that mask on. So I was like, man, but it's for a good reason.
Yeah, and that's one thing I worry about is because out here, for me, I work out early in the morning, sometimes before the sun comes up, because I don't know. Maybe I'm weird, I don't know. But I like the stillness and the quiet of being out and just, there's cars going by, but besides that, in the neighborhood. And plus I get very hot and sweat a lot. So I'm like, full disclaimer, that happens for me. And so I just like being out there, and it's hard with that mask, because the oxygen level is so high early in the morning. And I actually just put the mask just under my nose. And then if someone is coming, past me, they're gonna pass me, I put it, back up. I just have to remember to keep putting it back up over my nose. But it is hard to do that, to be out there, walking, jogging, or do anything outside. And so, yeah, I feel you on that, especially when you're going to the gym, it's enclosed. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, going to the gym, that was the one thing I was worried about, you know, because you're in an enclosed space with everybody else. But, you know, it's getting darker earlier.
Mm-hmm.
For the summertime, I was outside in the evening. I was going to this, I found this park that I like. And I just, you know, I stay away from people, but I'm just trying to stay active. I got to do something, you know. So I've been going to the gym a little bit more recently. But yeah, I just want to come up for a minute and sit in.
Yeah, no
Talking
problem.
about. I noticed you just you were talking about the vaccine. I've sent a whole bunch of articles to my email box. I just have to sit down and read everything. But I think the big thing you just mentioned the anaphylactic shock. Yes, the safety. I mean, folks gotta make sure it's safe for everybody.
Right.
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
The main thing is making sure that they know what potentially would be inducing the anaphylaxis, like maybe it's a certain type of lymphocyte that they are expressing, like eosinophils or maybe basophils, something, you know, and then even some other patients were, they were saying on that particular discussion they were having on the radio AM station, they were saying that patients who don't have asthma were having asthma-like symptoms. So that's eosinophil activation. A vaccine should not be activating a certain type of immune cell, like a eosinophil, or they specifically go up, you know, significantly when you have an asthmatic or bronchial, what is it called? It's bronchial, just some type of disruption within the bronchial tubes where they're kind of like spasming, bronchial spasm.
Yeah.
And that's a very clear indication of asthma, but these patients had no history of asthma. So that is not good to have that type of response, because if that is happening after the vaccine, you don't know the long-term effects. Now this person has asthma forever, you know, so a lot of questions.
Oh, ooh. Even somebody that had asthma in the past, that could be very much a problem.
Yeah. Or has allergies to a lot of things. And then they are like, if you have allergies to eggs, for instance, then you need to declare that when you declare it when you have you get the flu vaccine. They give you a different version of it or whatnot, whatever they can do to accommodate you as a patient. But on the trials, they were saying that was less likely to occur, which is very strange to me. And it also causes questions in how the vaccine's developed, you know, how it is put together and things like that.
Well, can I say something? I think I saw some, because everybody get the emails. I saw some pull up that how they have like almost 700 ready, and I guess ship them by this week. And I'm not sure if it's already having these adverse effects. I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't know, man. I tell you, people are human trials first to see what's going to happen. Then eventually they might have to go back to the drawing board with a lot of things. I don't want them to start putting things where people have to get certain things just to go back to work so soon. I mean, it should be us watch and see for at least a month, maybe two, depending on how the after effects of it. Because it takes like what? I'm not sure y'all people, I mean, y'all doctors up here. Usually it takes like weeks, a month to see the after effects or something in your body.
It depends on you mean from like a vaccine?
Yeah, like yeah, any vaccine, to be honest with you.
We don't know. Usually it takes, I mean, it depends on the person, the age, their pre-existing conditions, their skin type, their allergies and things like that, skin allergies and stuff. They have sensitive skin, and then, you know, blood type, all these things. But I would say, like, there's some people that respond. For instance, if I compare myself and my brother, he's more sensitive to like flu vaccine than I am. I get it and I have a sore arm for a couple of days. He gets it and he's just, you know, having issues, but he has a shellfish allergy. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but he does have worse responses to vaccines than I do. You know, not extreme, but it is moderate enough to make him uncomfortable. With this vaccine, we don't know because number one, as you all know, this virus it's a novel virus we've never experienced before. Number two, the vaccine that they've developed is a totally different vaccine that we've never seen before. So I can't give without reading any research. I can't, on that specific question. I can't give an answer.
And Nicole, can you just, in layman's terms, break down the principle of a RNA vaccine again? That means the antigen, they're injecting a piece of RNA, or it's encapsulated or something, or?
Yeah, so exactly. So they've taken a piece of RNA that, and that's, I even hate saying it, but I'll explain why in a minute. But they take the mRNA. mRNA is messenger RNA, messenger ribonucleic acid, right? So it's the most abundant, in your body. It's what's needed to translate into protein. And I think that Dr. Dunbar has done a video on transcription and translation. So you can put your link in the chat if you want to as well.
Yes.
He's done excellent work on telling you guys about all this type of stuff. But with the mRNA vaccine, you have mRNA that's injected. I think it's intramuscular. So they inject that into you, and it's immediately translated. So the body is not going to have a response to mRNA. It's going to respond to protein. Your immune system is not going to respond to mRNA, as quickly as it would protein. And they know this from previous studies that they've done with mRNA injections, that were not vaccines. And so if you inject mRNA into your system, the machinery is already there because it's going into the muscle. The machinery is there to translate that RNA into the protein, reverse transcribe it, and then, of course, translate it. Reverse transcribe, translate. Now you have a protein. Now you have a protein that's pushed out through vesicles into the bloodstream, or outside the cell at least, and that is attacked immediately by your immune system because it's foreign. So you have foreign mRNA, foreign protein in your body, meaning that this is a sequence your body's never seen before. Your immune system is going to attack it. You have natural killer cells, macrophages, dendritic cells. You have all these different types of cells that attack it. That's innate immunity. It's not going to work. And they know it's not going to work because it's designed not for those things to work properly, right? And then you're going to have, because you have to mimic a standard infection with this vaccine. Then you're going to have T cells, B cells come in and try to fight. And that's when it's going to, it's going to work, because this is not a live virus. This is a sequence. So the body thinks there's something there when it's in reality, it's just, protein that shouldn't be there. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense to you all. And they have like videos about this where it can explain it way better than me, where they like show the protein. They're trying to chop up the protein and things like that. The different cells try to eat it up. Macrophages try to eat up the protein and tag it and send off different signals like, hey, this is foreign. It shouldn't be here, And so that's where you have your immune response. That's where you have with your T cells and B cells, you have that response, and then you have your antibodies produced, and they can detect those antibodies through your blood, if they need to later on.
It's very fascinating to me, because I know when I was doing RT-PCR experiments, RNA is not very stable, or maybe it's the kind we were isolating, but it's not stable, right? It degrades really easily.
So they have to add things to it to stabilize it, because with RNA, and not just RNA, when you do an RNeasy kit, which is what they've been doing all year for COVID, they've been using an RNeasy kit from QIAGEN, $1,200 a kit, and they have been using that. That is isolating total RNA from your cells. mRNA is specific type of RNA. So you have total RNA, and you have a large percentage of that, which is mRNA. Yes, mRNA is not as stable, but when you put a guanosine cap on mRNA, it becomes more stable. And so that's the thing that they have done, essentially, is altered this mRNA sequence that they're putting in. Plus, when I was reading some of the articles, they were saying that the solution that it's in helps to stabilize it even more. That's why when you're processing mRNA or total RNA, Dr. Dunbar, you know that you have to keep everything at a certain temperature, right? When you store RNA, it has to be stored minus 80. Okay, and so that's pretty standard. If you store like minus 20, it might be okay for a couple days. Minus 80 is what you have to store. What you should store your RNA is minus 80. Your DNA should be stored at minus 80.
Is that Celsius? 80 degrees Celsius?
Yes, minus 80 degrees Celsius, right, which is similar to what they say the vaccine should be stored. I think they said minus 70 degrees Celsius, but most people's freezers are set at minus 80. So, and the reason for that is to keep it from breaking down. And it literally would just fall apart. And so when they thaw it out from dry ice or from minus 80 freezer or whatever they have, what's going on XXX, they have it where they go in and injecting it. It has to, of course, warm to room temperature, but it needs to be used within so much time, within like 30 minutes or something. They need to use it. It can't be like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of the vial sitting there. So they have to, inject. And they can't take out with so many vials at a time because you don't want to waste what you have. Mm-hmm. So that's important. So getting the doses, the dose volume and the dose concentration down was very important for the trials, because that's going to determine how many vials you can take out at once when you're doing these, big, testing, not testing, but these big injections of a lot of people. If the volume is like 100 microliters, which is very, very small amount, I guess 100 microliters, if you had to think about it, maybe the size of a pencil eraser, something like that. It's not much, but in your body, it's a lot. It makes a difference because the volume is as big as a pencil eraser, but the concentration of virus, vaccine there is a lot. Maybe it's, 20 milligrams of vaccine. So that's a lot going in your body. Anything higher than 5 milligrams, is a lot. So they do that, and the preservation of the or the contents of the vaccine, the mRNA itself, they did say it has something to do with the solution they're using, which is of course private. I can't find a lot of information about, the solution and everything they're using. I think it was Novagen or BioNTech. One of those companies were saying they wanted to give the ingredients of the solution they were using, but I don't think they ever did. A lot of these companies, and I wouldn't do it either. I wouldn't give out until like what's going on. Like I wouldn't give it out because the layman can't develop those solutions on their own. The public can't develop those solutions anyway. But as far as for national security, I think that's the main reason.
I'm sorry, Nicole. What does mRNA stand for again?
mRNA stands for messenger RNA. So you have messenger. The messenger RNA is the message, the genetic code message. So you're dealing with the virus is an RNA virus, and you have mRNA, messenger RNA. Messenger RNA is all it does is it helps to be the framework for what your protein is going to become.
Okay.
So DNA, AGCT, and RNA or mRNA is AGCU. Uracil replaces thymine. So is that right, Dr. Bar? Is that right?
Say it again.
I said the uracil replaces the thymine when you have RNA versus DNA.
That's right.
Yes.
She knew that.
Huh?
She knew that.
Yeah, I think about this stuff all the time. I don't know. The same way you do, Albert. Like you have you have the programming and stuff. I sit and think about these sequences, and I'm like, why it didn't work? gosh, why didn't it work? Flipping these little AGs and T's and stuff around, trying to figure out how to make this puzzle work, and why the cell didn't work. Why the cell didn't respond?
Yep.
And with your programming, you're like, well, oh man, I missed one comma. I didn't put the word command or whatever you do to make
I'll get
that.
deeper than that. Those are the easy ones to miss. Sometimes your program runs and you'll get and you didn't type and you didn't declare a class or something. You get a runtime error and your program crashes.
Yeah. See, like when we set up real time, when we set up to do real time, or we set up to do flow cytometry or any of the techniques that we're doing, we have a protocol. We have certain parameters that we have to set up. Like if I don't put sample 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if I don't put what those samples are, I have to know what sample 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't write down the notes before, script it out, then I'm looking like, okay, I don't know what I did. Like, what is this? And for the genes, if I just have gene 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm like, oh man, I have to know what those genes are and what they're supposed to be doing, and have an idea of like when it's coded and when it goes through. Why does my graph look this way? Like my melt curve doesn't look right. That's why at the beginning, for instance, when they were running samples on real-time machines, the COVID samples, they were saying, these samples have very high cycle threshold numbers. They're not coded properly. The the primers that they use to run the real-time PCR did not match the samples that they were getting. And they were like, oh, something is wrong. So when it doesn't match, your coding comes out to be, your numbers for your codes come out to be closer to 40 versus closer to 1. And the higher the number, the less expression is there. The lower the number, the more expression is there. And so they were looking for numbers between 18 and 25. And some patients, the numbers were 38, 39. And for my machine, I stop it, even though it's doing 40 cycles. If it goes above 37 cycles and it's keep running and running and running, I just set it to cut off and say undetermined. There's no signal there. Like there's no point to go past 37 cycles and there's nothing there. Like there's no DNA to be found, meaning there's no RNA to be found for me. But yeah, it's really similar. Now that I'm looking at like the bioinformatics that I have to do tomorrow, and the Zoom meetings we're having with looking at all these blasted Excel worksheets we got to do. I'm like, man, I feel sorry for you. I have respect. I have a lot more respect for programmers and the things that y'all do, because it takes a lot of work and just diligence.
Yeah,
just to do that.
It's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. True.
The dude was explaining to me, I was like, I felt like a second grader, in a college class. I was like, what? Wait, hold on, man. Slow down. And he was like, so you're going to do this in this program? And da, 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 da. I was like, oh, whoa. And then he asked me.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to take my, that's why I'm trying to take my programming series very slow, because I can overwhelm you in 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm. I saw when you had some of your, I think you were sharing your screen up there. What's going on, Sheet? And I saw you share your screen. You were doing your program. I was like, whoa, like that is like, I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. Like I felt the same way I did when I was talking to some of these bioinformaticians. I know I messed that up, but and the statisticians that we have that do a lot of statistics for us, all I do is run a sample. I treat the mice, I kill the mice, I take the tissues, I chop up the tissue, I give them the tissues, on dry ice or whatever they want. They take the tissues, they do some kind of magic and finagle whatever they do. Then they send me back all this paperwork, and I'm like, what? They send me things in hard copy form in a big, cardboard box
Oh wow.
And he also send me, everything electronically. And I'm like, dude, stop sending me all this paper. I got literally boxes stacked up to the desk, like just stacked up. I'm like, okay.
So
And I
just
feel
printed
like,
out information.
huh?
So this is just printed out information.
Yes, he said, well, this section right here, the red section with the red clip on it. Now this is for your first sample, and in the blue section with the blue clip, this is your second sample. I was like, why the samples got like 50, 11 pages? Like, what's going on, man? He was like, oh, well, that's all the information. I'm doing single cell sequencing, so
Mm-hmm.
each little cell, a piece of tissue, is being analyzed. And because I want to know what's going on, and then I can create a map of the tissue, and see what's happening in different parts of the organ. So that's what I'm trying to do, but it's taking forever. I was like, man, one cell at a time. He's analyzing it, and he said, man, this is kind of hard, but I'm gonna get you your data. I was like, shh, all right. It didn't take him but like 4 days to get everything done. I mean, he analyzed every single cell in the piece of tissue. I was
Oh
like,
wow.
wow. It was overwhelming. He said, well, these cells are different. And he didn't know anything about the cells. He didn't know anything about the treatment. He's blind. All he knows is numbers. So when we look at it, I know when I look at expression levels, I know what kind of cell it is. He was like, well, I don't know what kind of cell this is, but according to my estimations, according to my calculation, it's very, very aggressive, and it doesn't respond to drugs at all. What kind of drug is this? I don't know. I was like, he said, it don't respond. And I was like, oh yeah. Oh really? I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And when I told him, I said, well, that's a cancer cell, it's metastatic, blah, 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 here's the genetic abnormalities, everything. He was like, oh, that makes sense. Because that cell is jacked up. Or that group of cells is jacked up. And I was like, yeah, they're supposed to be. He was like, why are they supposed to be? I made them like that. He was like, oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. So I'm talking to the guy, and he was just like, well, good luck on everything you got going on. I said, yeah, thanks.
I hate to break this to you. That's how things get done in software. Sometimes it's not always gonna look pretty.
True. It doesn't look
Sometimes
pretty good. It makes sense when they explain it. For us layman scientists, when they explain it for us, it makes sense. And then they give like a lot of different. They don't just give one type of graph to explain their data. They give like several types of graphs. They give a pie chart, they give a histogram, box and whiskers, they might give a volcano plot. They give different graphs to explain the same piece of data, because they know that people interpret data better when it's presented in a certain way. You know what I mean? So certain pieces of data are better seen as a bar graph, but other pieces of data are better seen as like a volcano plot, or like a violin plot or something. So you can see like, oh, this makes sense. There's a threshold here, and I can see that. And here's the mean, and that looks good. I can use that. The good thing about having the bioinformatics and the coding, people that do the coding, and these are basically software engineers, and the stuff that they do is I can take their data straight from their runs and publish it. And I can take it straight from the run and just publish it and just put them in the acknowledgement section, or add them as an author, because, if the data they have generated from my tissues, if it's like more than 50% of the paper, yeah, they're author on the paper, because like their work made the paper.
So Nikole, so bioinformatics, that's just not just, but that is what it's a way of analyzing data, or okay.
Bioinformatics is what you use to analyze the data. It's just there's a lot of statistics involved, a lot of algorithms that they have to develop.
Yeah.
And some of them that they already have that they use to analyze your data. Like if you have a patient data that's treated with certain drugs. So you're going to do toxicology, pharmacology screens, but they have other databases that they're pulling from to match or compare what you have. So maybe they're pulling from a database where they have respondents to a similar drug that you have given them, that your cells are treated with or your mice are treated with. And they can, if you give them the molecular weight and the structure of your drug, they can find similar drugs with similar structure and compare them. Like maybe if your drug is unknown or not published yet, they can find, well, there's another group that's using a drug similar to yours, and here's their IC50, or here's their how people responded to it. And what is your drug supposed to do? Well, my drug should block STAT3. Okay, well, their drug blocks STAT1. Oh, I didn't know that. You actually find a lot of information from them that you didn't know before. And it's cutting edge research that, like, literally you come to them May 20th, 2020, and they're like, hey, there's an article similar to the drug you're using, and it was published April 15th, 2020. You're like, what? So they have access to a lot of databases and peer-reviewed research that comes out very recently that they can find for you. I mean, they can find types of cells within the tumor that you're looking at. They can find lineage plasticity, which is where cells evolve over time after being treated with certain drugs. That's lineage plasticity, where they become very transformable cells. And so that for you as a pharmacology and toxicology person, if you're in the lab and everything, that is extremely important to know. Like, how are my cells? You can predict like how your tumors or your cells will change over time with that drug you're using.
Okay.
That's valuable,
So it sounds like it's a very efficient combing of the literature. And I was going to say meta-analysis, but I don't know if that would apply here. But it sounds like you're capturing everything that's known about the question you're asking.
Right.
Okay. That's very valuable.
Numbers and stats and everything to back it up. And I mean, I told them a list of markers I wanted them to look for and see if they're neuroendocrine or if there is responsiveness or things going on with patients. And they found it like within a day. They sent me all this data. The issue I have is that they send you everything that they find. And so I asked just one question about 5 genes or something, one little question, and they sent me literally 30 slides of PowerPoint the next day.
Ooh, that's
and they were like, this is my initial finding. I was like, 30 slides ain't initial finding, that's a dissertation. What the hell? So then he said, I'll send you the Excel worksheets tomorrow. No, hold the Excel worksheets. I'm gonna focus on the PowerPoints right now. Let me try to look through the PowerPoints first. And when he sent me Excel, it was literally one Excel worksheet with 10 tabs going across. I was like, what in the heck? And they all, they're coded in their coded bioinformatics language, which I don't know. And they're like, oh yeah, that's easy. This is so and so, and And I'm just like, this is y'all doing too much, But it is so helpful. At the end of the day, when you sift through it, it is very helpful, and I can publish it like this is what it is. This is data. This is what people do when they're you're right about saying it's meta-analysis. This is what people do when they need to find like large amounts of data quickly. People have that, that's their job, to find large pieces of data.
Yeah, I know that the meta-analysis, I know that's huge in the epidemiology. Because I've been on projects in my current position and it took me a minute to figure out what exactly they were doing, but they were basically analyzing all of what was known at one time. So I just want to come up for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and drop off. It's good to talk to you all.
Down in a minute.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Okay. I'll drop my transcription translation video in the chat.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to have to come up here more often and everything. I appreciate you coming through, everybody coming through in the chat. everybody up here on the panel, Dr. Dunbar, as always, AV Chaos. If you guys have anything you want to say before I shut this down.
No, just share the stream.
I will say,
Thank you.
My question: do you feel that at this time now in the month of December, that is a little bit uncertain to start them trying to push this vaccine, like Russia out now to wherever general public certain countries right now, instead of going through a little bit more trials?
You said that I think they're rushing it?
Yeah. Like this is kind of sudden now. I mean, I know this. We've been at now with this for over a year and a month now. That they now just gonna start try to rush it because they, pushing this now instead, like, go through it. This trials, make sure. Because the one more important thing is they don't want this when people take it, they're gonna eventually, either die or something else. Like there's gonna be side effects with everything, but the side effects should be at least on the average, at least we're hoping a minimal. Mm-hmm. That's something that you cannot recover. So that's why I was the more the concern is a little bit of sun now from pushing it now instead of wait to 2021 to start, try and roll this thing out.
Yeah, I mean they push things all the time. People just don't notice it. And we push stuff all the time. People, nobody would be the wiser. If I have something that I want to put out, I'm going to push it, to try to get it out. But I'm going to make sure it has the right safety, and safety is number one for any trial. So in case people wondering, phase 1, 2, 3, phase 1, 1A, 1B, and all those different phases they have. Mm-hmm. Number one for any clinical trial is safety. Number 2 is efficacy. And then number 3, 4, 5, they do other things. But I do know number 1 is for safety. Is your drug safe? And this a vaccine is a drug. I do think that they're rushing it. I don't think that it's necessary for them to rush things, because my question is and will always be until someone can, clarify it for me, is how are you having a vaccine for? I was talking to my mom about this earlier. How are you going to have a vaccine for a virus that you know has mutated so many times? Like, how do you develop a vaccine for that to cover? Like, we know the flu has several strains. We have several strains of flu every year during flu season. Mm-hmm. And they have vaccines with different labels or different concoctions, different mixes that will cover you, that should cover you and prevent you from getting really sick, fatally sick from the flu, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if the same can be said about COVID-19 because it has so many mutations, so many types of mutations. So that's the problem that I have personally about the vaccine, the rushing of it. They're going to rush it. I mean, it's not mandatory. They have made it mandatory. And yeah, BGS was going on, Master Teacher. He said, financially, it must be rushed down to people. Yep. Yeah, I just read it carefully and I already knew what the rest was going to say, but he said, damn the people. Yeah, so they want to rush it for financial reasons. And that's just not my way, with things. And a lot of people disagreeing, with it. And, and they also know how the public, how the layman will respond to, saying 95 or 90% effectiveness. But I was like, what's the safety rating? What's the safety rating? Mm-hmm. Like, a nice car that can drive fast, but what's the safety rating? I need to know that if you're going to put something in your body. But yeah, financially, there is a need to rush it, to push it, and to keep it on the minds of the people. If you ask me if I was going to take it, I would say no, because I've already read through stuff, that says they're not done with their trials until next year. So.
Okay. Yeah, and the point why let me ask this. The only reason why I ask this is because at much time this is a problem and there might be an issue financially with this country because of the trillion debt we're already in. Right. But nonetheless, that the average American right now, if you ask poll, some are still not convinced and really thrilled to even go through it. Even the people that already got it already. Because we always want to concern about the side effects and say the side effects outweigh the greater good because, like you said, this thing mutated. So we want to make sure that I don't take something and all of a sudden a year later I get something I didn't know I had, or part of mutate something that's already in there, accelerate it, So that's always, that's the downside of anything, And like I said, the financial of this institution, regardless, people got to get back to work. I get, but most people on the average right now is doing things electronically. So right now, if it's necessary, if we wait until it's actually clear, and then the side effects not too harsh, then yeah, that's the way it should go. Now, regardless if people going to take it or myself, anything, I can't really get an answer because I'm not for it. And I'm not really fond of vaccines anyway. But for people, public, safety is the number one thing that people should be cautious. That's why a lot of people are skeptical about this. Now, how 2021 is going to go, is what it is. I'm hoping that how they look at the fatalities and all this stuff, and the economy's going. I mean, I tell people many times, I know we want to get things back to normal, but if we have to wait until this is really proven that this is okay, that you don't get too much side effects that will hurt you in the long run, then fine. I will willing to make that sacrifice.
Well, it's important to know. For me, it's important to know if you have it and what strain you have prior to thinking about a vaccine. Because if you have it, and let's say you have strain A, the vaccine is for strain B, then I think you should be able to take it, for a mutation B.
That's fine. That's fine. If you have it, then yes, you have to take it.
You have strain A and the vaccine is for strain A. That's not going to help you. You already have it. A vaccine is for preventive measures. And I hear what you say. And I just had to say that because a lot of people are like, well, it doesn't matter about mutations and stuff. I was like, okay, at that point, I just stopped talking to you. I just walk off because I'm like, okay, and yeah, Black folks are scared to take it. I don't blame them. Look at the history of Black people in this country with medical science. Like, come on,
pretty much, yeah.
The book Medical Partner explains it all, and I didn't even complete reading that book, but I've heard about the experimentations for decades here as people, and I say even the hospitals we don't trust. So obviously, when they tried to experiment this on Africa, that's where people got their light bulbs up. Say, oh, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a medical part all over again. So like I said, people just be careful,
I mean, they're trying to do it in UK. Well, they have it in UK. I guess they're rolling it out, giving the vaccines in UK. So I was like, okay, let's see what happens with that. I'm glad that now I know that they're seem to be rushing it based on what the projections were earlier this year, that it would not be out until be completed. Things would not be completed until next year, 2021. But yes, like you said earlier, the economy cannot wait that long, and BGS has said that many times. The economy can't wait that long. I'm glad that they have one company at a time. I don't know, but it seems one company at a time rolling out the vaccine, to the general public, and that may be okay. I feel like it's like wait and see. And in the meantime, if it were me, because I will, I'm scared too, but I am scared, but I will, get tested. And I feel like I need to get tested more than once. And so if it were me, I would want to know that, just for my peace of mind, I need to know what strain I have. Can they determine the strain? I'm almost like, honestly, like I said before, I've almost gone and been like, let me just go ahead and design the primers. I already know the sequences. Let me go ahead and design the primers and spit in the cup and figure it out for myself. Let me just do this myself. Let me swab myself and do this myself. But they have the sequences flagged, so they will flag me if I try to order those sequences and do the PCR myself. But, you can't get them sequences. I was like, dang it, So yeah, I agree, BGS. He said that's why Fauci's playing a race car. I was telling Dr. Dunbar to stop stop it. He said, how about Fauci playing a race car? And he's laughing. But yeah, and I think that could be why he is. And if that's the case, it's like, okay, y'all just that's not gonna get people to be like, well, let me step up to the plate then. I'll show Dr. Fauci. No, that's not gonna do nothing. That's gonna say, okay, I'm good where I am. Well, I hope that people are being more cautious, from that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I know this is supposed to be an after stream from Kendra. You know, I can talk about a lot of other things as well. And I think that everybody got the gist of what I was saying on her stream as well. We will be talking more about the women being liberated because they want to be liberated and not having any self-respect, or you will see that topic come back up, even if it's not on this platform, it will be in society.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
women losing their self-respect. If you know what I'm talking about, you know, give me a hi, hey, how you doing? Put a one in the chat. Give me a hey, Nicole, if you know what I'm talking about. Hey, Nicole. So that's what it is. Like, we already see things changing, the economy changing, you know, health and all that, and resources being dried up, people getting kicked out and all that. Hey, Nicole, can I stay with you for a few days? No, Heifer.
No, Heifer. Oh shit. He said, but I'm gonna be in the cold. Good luck. You in California, you in the nice weather. Try that shit in the East Coast, man. Girl, you got it good, man. You in the West Coast. You don't have to worry about
I'm hearing it.
You need to stop bitching. Just make a nice little tent. Go in the park.
I'm in
get
Indiana.
lay down. You don't know how it goes.
I'm in Indiana. 1 to 2 feet of snow is Tuesday for me.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I couldn't do it.
So
I was laughing at my cousin in North Carolina talking about they got 1 foot of snow and shut the whole town down. I was like, why? I mean,
in Atlanta, we had like 3 inches. They were like, "Shut up, city."
I mean, here you have to have like 4 or 5 feet of snow and blizzard weather for me not to go drive somewhere. That's how much snow we get here usually. It's been kind of off and on the last few years, but we're talking blizzard weather, ice. We've had plenty of ice storms where I had to chisel the ice off my car.
Wow. Well, let me shut this down. Y'all be safe.
All right.
Whether you have to be safe out there.
Yeah.
We just had some wind, you know, it's like 60s or something today, but that's about it. And you know, but in the evening, it can get chilly out here. Well, I guess not for y'all, but a little chilly, a little brisk.
Oh, we get below freezing here.
You can drive with the windows down or your top down, but you know, it's a little brisk at night, but it's okay. But y'all just be safe. I want everyone to be safe. I know that Officer Charles was in here earlier. You know, as always, anybody who's out here in these streets, just be safe and make sure that you are not all up in people's faces, you know. And I will holler at y'all at the next stream that I do. Y'all have a good night. And that's it. Peace.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.